So we have to catch up on some things. So we were talking on text, but we didn't go into detail. I wanted to know if you wanted to talk about it here, about your latest blood test results. If you don't, I totally understand.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
So what happened? We didn't talk about it in great detail. And by the way, I empathize with you. And I was going to tell a story also about, like, I was trying to relate to you and the way you're thinking personally last night after we talked. And I think I empathize a lot. But anyway, what happened with your recent blood test?
So I got my recent blood work back. I went and drawed blood on the 18th of March. I got my results the next day by myself. Because remember I told you I know the back way now?
Yeah.
So my creatinine is 6.93. My bun was 96, went up to 111. I'm spilling more protein. My phosphorus was raising. My potassium was still in range. Everything else was in range, but everything was worse. The urea, nitrogen, the bun, everything was worse. But it's fucking weird, man. Like today in the gym, I got to talk to you about that too. Maybe even off the camera about a pec. I need to get this pec tear fixed, dude, because I went into the gym today and I felt really good. Felt really fucking good. And I went as heavier than I have gone in like years. I mean, I probably since 6 years, the heaviest I ever went on flat bench. And I was strong at it. Like I could have got this weight that I usually never go for a good amount of reps. And on the third rep, I felt my pec tear, like it was going to tear again.
Okay, that's literally the story I was going to say about empathizing with you, but I'll tell it later. It's about tear, yeah.
But yeah, you remember I tore it before completely. And then this time, and I never got it worked on. This time I was doing flat bench. I felt the tear and I'm like, I'm going to do one more rep. I'm going to see how it feels. I did one more rep and I had a spotter. Thank God. I go rack it. One more rep, it would have blew right off. It would have blew right off the bone, 100%. I'm still in pain right now. Like it's hard for me to. So I contacted Dave. He gave me a referral to a orthopedic, and I'm gonna go get it checked out because, I mean, dude, my chest doesn't grow anyway. So if it's a 6-month recovery, I hope they can fix it.
It's a perfect time to do that as well, right? Because you could use the layoff anyway.
Perfect time because we're gonna try for kids. So I'm gonna go back down to TRT, and I'm gonna do my fertility protocol. It'd be a perfect time. So I hope they could do it, man, because some surgeons, they won't work on a pec tear that's been torn for 6 years.
I'd like to mention also, by the way, I think that trying for kids now is also a good idea because, by the way, it becomes way more difficult like if you're going to get a replacement or something, in that time period, your sperm will really be not funcking well. So you want to do it a little bit.
I don't think it's functioning that well anyways with the kidney failure because remember, we tried for 1 or 2 months. No, 1 month. 2 months. When I was in kidney failure and we didn't have any luck, which was weird, but I didn't know I was in kidney failure at the time. I was taking the FTTP and the HCG and the HMG to get when I was trying to get her pregnant. I was taking all three of them. That's when I had blood in my cum. I'm like, babe, I don't think I'm going to get you pregnant with this bloody cum.
FTP. Okay, that's too far, but no, that's insane. But what I was going to say is this, though. I think what's going on, though, when you're in kidney disease is you have a lot of oxidative stress in your actual semen. In the semen, like, by the way, the sperm need antioxidants in the semen to protect them, just to keep them alive. So maybe something you could do this time that you didn't do before is like go to an IV vitamin clinic. I don't know if you can do this with chronic kidney disease. I don't know if it's potentially dangerous. Maybe it is. Maybe it's the opposite. But like to do IV glutathione and IV vitamin C, like twice.
I'm doing IVs on myself for glutathione.
Perfect. Yeah. And vitamin C, by the way, IV is very different than if you do vitamin C orally. It's way
I did get a vitamin C glutathione treatment at Titan Medical. It just for one time it's like $250. It's like really expensive.
But the vitamin C, you could find it probably cheaper from one of your sources on the forum, and you could probably get it IV vitamin C. And
does aminoasylum carry it?
I don't know if they do. No, I don't know. I don't think they do. But we could easily find from India. I'm sure they have vitamin C ampules that you could inject. The thing is,
you're talking about ascorbic acid.
Ascorbic acid, yeah, exactly.
I have that at home in ampules.
So that would be great. But the problem with it is this. When you inject IV, you want to take a saline solution and mix it with a saline solution. So the antioxidant is not so potent that it damages your actual blood vessels as it comes in. So you want to dilute it with a saline solution. So maybe there's someone listening to this who's a nurse in Florida who could visit Boston and help him out to do the saline. I would love if someone is a nurse in Southern California who could help me out with the same exact thing. But basically, you dilute it with a saline solution. You have a bag bag. That's why they have bags, and you put in the thing, so it just goes in through you. But you don't really need to do that. You're just protecting yourself.
I need to ask though if I could my doctor, or once I get a new doctor, if I could use even vitamin C in higher dosages.
Exactly.
I do higher dosages with liposomal vitamin C mixed with my iron every day, for better absorption. And supposedly I was reading, me and Ariella were reading, because we did some research, that a lot of vitamin C is really not good on kidneys. So we got to look into that.
It could it's known to cause kidney stones, which definitely. And by the way, today I was researching. Apparently, like if you get kidney stones, you're more likely to get chronic kidney disease. And every time you get a kidney stones, your kidney is getting acutely injured. I didn't know this before. I have citations, but I was researching it a little bit today. So, maybe it could damage them seriously. But I don't know. You need an expert.
He said it would only affect the female's fertility if she was in kidney failure, but I disagree with him. I think it'll affect the male too.
No, because you have uremic toxins in your body, so it's stressing out all your cells. So all the cells are a bit stressed out. You could help them with that glutathione, I assume, though.
How about on dialysis? I'd probably have better luck on dialysis, huh?
But brother, the thing with the dialysis, look at that's crazy study I read where they only have 10 to 15% of the function of a normal kidney unless they do it nightly, in which case nightly has 50%.
I am doing night.
Nightly has 50%.
I'm going to do the course the first 2 weeks. I already talked to Ariella. If I need dialysis, the first 2 weeks. But Leo, it's crazy that we're even thinking about this because I have no symptoms. It's fucking weird.
I know. No, so let's talk about that because we were talking about it and you sent me a message basically. So basically this is the thing. You gave up your life for like 4 or 5 months. You gave up everything. You gave up
over 3 months.
Not your life, but like you stopped lifting and stopped trying to be harsh on your body and you were trying to be very careful. And you see your numbers at this level and they actually get worse. And so this is, I think, because I was trying to empathize after you sent me the message yesterday. I was trying to think like, how does he feel and stuff? Because I sent you a message, I was saying, I understand. But then I was really trying to think about it. And like, you're trying your best and the number is getting worse. And the thing is, it's not just that. It's even more than that. It's that, okay, at some point I'm going to have to get a replacement. So at the time being, why do I have to give up my whole freaking life to just sit around and wait? Well, the number's going to get worse anyway. You know what I mean? And if I'm going to get down dialysis, I could still lift and take whatever anyway during that time. Really, I only have to really consider this once I get the kidney replacement. So why am I making myself depressed or whatever, giving up my life, whatever, and actually seeing my numbers get worse, steadily worse, So
it's progressing at the same it was when I was off. So I came off, I was eating 2 to 3 meals a day max, lowered my protein, didn't train, took the 3 blood pressure meds. And I still got worse, in a month. In 1 month, it's still the same progression. I'm still getting worse. So I said, if I'm going to get worse, whether I lose my kidney a couple of years earlier and I get to do what I love. And I know I talked to a bodybuilder today at the gym, and I don't know if he probably doesn't want me to mention his name, so I won't. But he'll probably come on this podcast and go public with it because he's getting a transplant. But he was an old school bodybuilder, and he's on dialysis, and he's still taking stuff, and he feels good. I mean.
So the way I thought about it is like right before this podcast, I had a podcast with Pete Rubish and Vigorous Steve. And Steve and I were talking about muscle tears, which is interesting. You brought up the muscle tear. And Steve mentioned that he'd gotten some small muscle tears in his muscles in his lifetime. And then I was discussing it with him because I noticed that I probably had a few muscle tears in my right bicep. My right arm was bigger than my left arm, then started getting the same size as my left arm, and then got weaker than my left arm. So at the end of my arm wrestling, I was doing mostly left arm stuff. So, and I would feel like when I would work out my biceps in the gym, which was very important for arm wrestling, I would feel like pain inside the bicep. Like it felt like minor tears. Every time I would go to work out, when I'd be done, and I'd lift heavy weights, I'd feel like actual pain in the bicep. Like normal people would take Tylenol. I wouldn't take it, but I would sit there a little bit in pain for like an hour or two after the workout, like not fully able to focus on stuff. But this is the thing. When I talked about it with Steve, he was like, yeah, I got those like little tears, but I stopped working out the body part for like 6 months, let it heal, and then went back to it. And then when he said this, a light bulb hit in my mind. And I was like, why the hell did I never even think about that? Like I knew something was going on. Every time I would go to work out my biceps, I'd be in pain for an hour after. I'd be sitting like at home, like silently in pain, like feeling pain in my bicep. Know something's going on. Scared it's going to tear. But then I would go back on the next day and just go back to work out. The reason was the biggest part of my day was going to the gym. And my strongest movement was my bicep. And so you telling me to miss that day, to wait 6 months, I never even thought about that. Like, you see what I mean? So when I was thinking about this, I was like, wow, you know, think in Boston's situation, like you're telling him basically to give up his whole life in the hopes that it'll slightly deteriorate slower. You know what I mean? So it's
if somebody told me, hey, you could come back from a creatinine of 6 and get back if you came off everything for a year, I'd do it. But there is no one that I've talked to, no one that I've heard about who has came back from a 6 creatinine.
Me neither.
No one.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So what the fuck? And like I said, I did come off everything and nothing happened. Dude, I was taking like 100 mgs of tests every 7 days, and I was like missing shots. Just I wasn't even, you know. So oh, by the way, I told the guy, I'm like, dude, if we're gonna arm wrestle, I can't do the right arm. Like we're gonna have to